Good evening. How are you guys? It's so good to see all of you guys here today. So I want to share some things with you, and I hope you can just stay locked in with me for a second. It's going to benefit you greatly if you really listen, okay? So several years ago, while attending my brother's college graduation, I learned an extremely valuable lesson about leadership. After the ceremony ended, my family and I, we headed back to the car, ready to leave campus. However, there was a problem. The parking lot was packed and traffic was barely moving. As we sat there waiting, that's my brother laughing. As we sat there waiting, we finally realized that traffic was moving so slowly because there was no one there to direct it. And I don't know about you, that gets a little, you get antsy in those kind of situations. And so we realized that there was no one there directing traffic. My family started saying, there should be somebody here to direct traffic. You know, it's a really large event, all of that kind of stuff. So basically, we were waiting in the car, and I started looking around, and I started to say to myself, maybe I can do something about this. And so as we're in the car waiting, I just think to myself, like, I can keep complaining about everything that's going on, or I could do something about it. And, you know, in that kind of situation, you think to yourself, what can someone do with no formal training or anything like that? And so without much hesitation, I got out of the car, walked to the source of the congestion, and started directing traffic. With no vest, no badge, and no fear. Now, did I actually know what I was doing? That's to be determined. But I'd watched enough movies to have an idea, and so I said, let's just try this. So I get out there, I start directing traffic, and everyone's actually doing what I asked them to do. I'm like, come on, guys. And I'm like, you guys stop. Come on. And so this situation taught me a very important lesson that I'll never forget, and I like to refer to this as graduation gridlock. This is a real picture of me directing traffic. See the arrow, okay? Since that moment, I've been intentional about finding opportunities to lead in the workplace, in the community, and teaching others to lead effectively as well. Today, we'll talk about the importance that leaders play in the workplace. We'll also discuss the importance of framing leadership through some proven frameworks. And then also, we'll just look at the lasting impact that leaders have on organizations. Before we go deeper, let's define leadership. So leadership is a process. It's a dynamic, ongoing interaction that unfolds over time. It's not a single event, nor is it merely a personal trait or characteristic. In the case of graduation gridlock, I observed the problem, thought through a solution, and took action. At its core, leadership is defined by influence. Leaders who do not have influence cannot lead. You need influence to actually get the ball moving, get things rolling. Leadership also exists in context. So this context was very specific. It was a chaotic parking lot. There was no formal traffic control, a lot of frustrated people. This context demanded a specific kind of leadership from me. It required me to be quick and decisive. Leadership also requires acceptance. Leaders that do not have the buy-in or acknowledgement of their followers cannot lead effectively. Without that acceptance, it's hard for a leader to actually get anything accomplished. And leadership is to achieve common goals. True leadership unites people around a common goal, around a shared vision, and people really want to work towards the same thing together. And that's what we did at Graduation Gridlock. I said, I got y'all. We're going to get out of this parking lot together. And I said, let's go. So that's why I got out of the car, and bam, we did the thing. Today, I want to talk about some leadership frameworks that really shape how I do leadership in the roles that I do. Leadership, in the case, we'll be talking about transformational leadership, behavioral leadership, as well as destructive leadership. Now, these three frameworks are probably the most impactful in the work that I do. I work a lot with people, and I work in very high impact kind of areas. So today, we'll go through these three frameworks. I'll give you guys some examples, some benefits of them, and then we'll go on to the next part. So we're going to start with behavioral leadership. Now, the reason we're starting with behavioral leadership because it's the glue that binds everything together. That regardless of what happens on the transformational side or the destructive side, you've got to understand that leadership is all derived by behaviors. Whether those behaviors are positive or negative, these things drive organizations, the behaviors that leaders do drive organizations to be successful or not. Now, transformational leadership is one that I'm extremely passionate about and really enjoy talking about. There's 4 primary dimensions that are involved with transformational leadership. The first is idealized influence. Now, this leader is going to serve as a role model or an example. The people who don't just go the way, they show the way. That's what idealized influence is. Inspirational motivation is the second dimension. And this is a person who is inspiring you to be your best. They're really looking at, okay, how can we get this vision together and sharing that vision with everyone that's there. The third is intellectual stimulation. So the leader that challenges you and really helps you to get your brain going and helps you to think in innovative ways. That's what intellectual stimulation is. And then the fourth piece is individualized consideration. This leader right here considers each person as an individual. They think about their specific, unique requests that they have, the needs that are all different among all employees. Now, destructive leadership, on the other hand, is caused by harmful behaviors. And so, I don't know about you, but I can think about some leaders that I've worked with that had some harmful behaviors. There was one time I remember thinking, is this a leadership strategy or is this a social experiment gone wrong? What's going on here? And I just wasn't clued in on what was happening. Destructive leadership tends to lead to unfavorable consequences. So lower job performance, lack of innovation, lack of productivity, all those things which really are detrimental to companies and to organizations. It's caused by things like micromanagement, a lack of accountability, ineffective communication. All of these things drive leaders and employees to the direction that we don't want. And so I want to ask you guys, what is the link between leadership and organizational success? One thing that's certain, the research is clear, is that leadership behaviors greatly impact organizational success. It's very clear that those who practice transformational behaviors lead people into the right direction. They lead people to want to work hard, to be innovative, to be creative. Those who practice destructive behaviors really cause a lot of harmful results for organizations. Now, the success of your organization is TBD. It's to be determined by the choices leaders make every day. Now, leaders can either drive success through transformational behaviors, which end up transforming individuals as well as organizations, or they can hinder success by doing those things which are detrimental and unfavorable for organizations. And I want to challenge you today that you have the opportunity to be transformational in how you lead or destructive in how you lead. The behaviors that you choose are up to you. So I want you to know today that the success of your organization is TBD. Thank you.